y'all are dealing with any of that, run. Like, leave, please. You're gonna be so much better off. I don't care how long y'all have been together. If you are being mistreated, leave the relationship. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Latasia. I go by Latasia H on YouTube. Today we have a very serious topic to talk about, so I apologize if my tone is kind of down here instead of up here, but this is very serious. Today I'm going to be talking about signs of emotional abuse within a relationship. I'm going to be going into some personal things that happened to me. The first things I'm going to give y'all are from online resources, and then the second thing I'm going to give y'all is from my personal experience. Kind of like the red flags to where you should leave that whatever relationship you're in where you're being mistreated in that way. I posted a poll on my Instagram the other day, and I asked those who follow me if I should do a video on emotional abuse / toxic relationships and friendships. I figured I would just focus on relationships today because I didn't want to make this video too long. Let me know if you guys want a part 2 where I discuss friendships / family that might be toxic or abusive. But today we're just going to focus on the relationship aspect because I came to the realization that I might have been in an emotionally abusive relationship. So I've healed from that, which is why I'm making this video for you guys, because I don't want to see y'all in the same situation, and I want to help y'all just in case you feel like you might be in the same situation, and so that you'll have the signs to know whether or not you need to leave that relationship. The other day I was just scrolling through Instagram and I came across this post, and it said, "Is this abuse? Is this happening to you?" And so I'm just swiping through it, and I'm thinking about my last relationship. I'm no longer in that relationship. What it said was, I have it right here on my computer. It says, "Is this abuse? Is it happening to you? These are common tactics abusers use to keep you under their control." A thread. So I was just scrolling through that, and I was just like, oh my God. The last person I was with literally did all of this, or even just the majority of it, like they did. I went into researching more and online, and it basically confirmed that I was in an emotionally abusive relationship. And this is no hate to the person that I was with. I genuinely don't think that they are a bad person. They might have trouble knowing how to treat someone right in a relationship, so I have no hate towards that person. I have no hate towards anybody. I just came to this realization, and I figured that I should share it and be honest on my channel, just in case any one of you guys are going through the same thing. Just because someone isn't physically hitting you doesn't mean that they're not mistreating you. So just keep that in mind. Verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse exist. They can be just as damaging as physical abuse, and you may not even realize it, because I didn't even realize it myself. I mean, I knew I was being mistreated, but I didn't know that it was showing signs of like emotional abuse. So first I'm gonna start with the Instagram post that I saw. And so like I said, it said, "Is this abuse? Is it happening to you? These are the common tactics abusers use to keep you under their control." A thread. It was a Twitter thread, you know, y'all see those a lot. And I didn't want to just choose the Instagram post because a lot of times Instagram can just be opinions and not actual facts. So I made sure that I went and looked up the actual facts as well, so I'm not giving you guys the wrong information. So the first one is isolation. This says, "Abusers don't want you talking to anyone so you don't hear others' perspectives. They control you by isolating you from loved ones, telling you that they only care for you, and ask you to keep things secret, question your loyalty, and cause divides between you and others." So this is basically when a person tries to keep you away from like other people, like your friends, maybe family. The previous relationship that I was in, he did not like my friends. He did not like for me to be around them, which is understandable because, like, I can't make you like my friends. But he did try to keep me, like, I wouldn't feel comfortable talking to new people or meeting new people, especially males, because I know it would make him uncomfortable or mad at me. I'm in college, so even if they were in my class and I just knew them and they were a friend to me, he would get jealous and stuff like that, and it was just a mess. I used to stay on the phone with him all the time, and he would get irritated whenever I was around my friend. So that's one sign. If you're dating someone and they don't like for you to be around your friends, you might need to rethink that situation, because if these are friends that you really care about, you don't want to isolate yourself from them, because if you try to come back after you leave that person, they might not want you to come back. The second one I saw on the Instagram post was gaslighting. This was a big one for me. Abusers will make you second guess yourself and make you feel like you are going mad. You start not to trust your judgment. You're overreacting. People who are gaslighted will protect their partner and blame themselves instead. Tactic to create a power dynamic. This happened to me all the time. When I would bring up things that bothered me, it would kind of be like, oh, you're overreacting, or that's not very serious. But when it came to his issues, they were very serious, and I ended up having to apologize. But when I was bothered by something, which y'all, I'm not often bothered by anything. So if I bring up something, it's probably a big issue to me, or it's hurting me. And so whenever I would communicate that to him, he would kind of just like brush it off like, you're overreacting, or I don't know what you're talking about, I don't do that. So it'll just make you, y'all, my earring fell out. Just make me feel crazy for thinking the way that I do. So if anyone is making you feel like you're overreacting whenever you bring up something that might be very serious to you or hurt you, that's kind of a red flag that they're emotionally like abusing you. And I'm not saying that people are perfect. I would say if you see the majority of these, or like almost all of these, is where you need to address the problem. And if it's not fixed, then you need to leave that relationship. This one is a big one. This one is a big one for me. This is victimizing. When you confront them about something they did, instead of acknowledging and apologizing, they play the victim. I hate myself, I'm a bad person, to gain your sympathy and make you feel bad for making them feel this way. I'm not good enough for you. So in my previous relationship, I didn't get the I hate myself, I'm a bad person, but I did get to play the victim a lot. And it didn't matter what issue we had, I was the one who really ended up apologizing. Even if I didn't do anything. Like, I would just, because I'm the type of person where I don't like arguing, so I will just try to get it over with, apologize, and move on. Whenever I confronted him about something that was bothering me or hurting me, he would find some type of way to like turn it on me and make me feel guilty. And I don't know how I let it happen, but it was like manipulative, like so manipulating. And once again, like, no hate towards the person. I just think genuinely, I don't think that they knew that he knew that he was really doing it, but it still happened. So victimizing was definitely a thing. Somehow it'll always get turned on me, and I was the bad guy. Which in relationships, it shouldn't be a bad guy, good guy thing. It should be like, let's work this out. I'm sorry I did this if this hurt you. Okay, this one kind of goes with the last one. This one says blame shifting. And once again, y'all, every single one of these that I went through in this Instagram post happened in my last relationship. Abusers use your weaknesses, habits against you to make you feel inadequate. When you get upset at legitimate problems, they use your past to turn tables. And before you know it, you are apologizing to them, not the other way around. And then it says you can't take a joke as an example. Blame shifting. That was a big thing in my last relationship. Whenever I had a problem, past is brought up. And I will say that I made one big mistake in the relationship, which kind of it wasn't in the relationship. I did not tell the full truth about where I was when I was with my friend after he called me after not talking to me for like 3 days. So he called me and I just told him I was getting something to eat, which I was, but I was also out with my friend because I was honestly just trying to distract myself. If I'm being honest, I was trying to distract myself from the pain I felt because we hadn't talked in like 3 days. So I assumed that we were broken up. So I went out with my friend. She was like, let's go to this little party or whatever. So I went there and he called me in the middle of it. And ever since I did that, he never let it go. Never let it go. And granted, we should have been broken up before that, honestly. But he never let it go. And I had never lied to him before, but after I did that, he had already called me a liar before I even did that. But after I did that, he was like, oh yeah, you really a liar now. Just blame shifting. You end up apologizing. Like I said, I always ended up apologizing. The next one says grooming. You feel like soulmates. They mirror you, make you feel that what you have is special. Groomers are pretenders and unbelievably charming. They establish trust to set the ground for abuse. You're lucky to have me. Victims feel at fault because their partner is perfect. I will say I didn't get this one as much. It wasn't really like they were perfect because I know they weren't a perfect person. I am not a perfect person, so this was one that I kind of didn't have. This one was a big one for me. Minimization. They invalidate your feelings and concerns by belittling your self-worth. They tell you that you're too sensitive, are overreacting, or don't give your concerns any weight and dismiss it. If you have issues with their friends, their response, that's how they are. Invalidate my feelings. That happened a lot. I'm not going to go into detail about specifics. That's going to come later when I get to my signs. But like I said before, when I had an issue, you're overreacting. That's not a big deal. You know, but when he had an issue, it's just like the end of the world, and I'm over here crying, apologizing, I'm sorry. And y'all, your feelings should never be invalidated. If you feel like someone is invalidating your feelings and you address it and they still act the same way, I say cut the ties with them, leave them. Your feelings should never feel invalidated by the person you chose to be in a relationship with and they chose to be in a relationship with you. If something is hurting you, you have the right to say that. They should be willing to want to fix that issue. Silent treatment. Y'all, this happened at the beginning, at the very beginning. And I don't know, like, I guess because it was my first relationship that I was just kind of like, oh, I'm in love. Like, I try to ignore the bad thing. Silent treatment. A very degrading tactic where they stop responding to you emotionally, withdraw, or withhold intimacy. To do this as a noble cause to teach you a lesson, punish you, coerce you into meeting their demands. They force you to fix the situation. At the beginning of the relationship, he would get mad at me over little things. And instead of sitting down and talking to me about it, y'all, I would not get talked to. Complete, utter silence. I would be like, what's wrong? Like, how can I fix it? And y'all, I look back at that and I'm like, forget him. Like, if someone give me the silent treatment now, okay, you're cut off. And it's funny how it takes the stuff to happen to you for you to honestly know your self-worth. So silent treatment is definitely a red flag. If you're with someone who gives you the silent treatment, that's like some petty stuff. That's some very childish, like, kid stuff. And if you're my age or older, any age really, nobody should be giving you the silent treatment. That's petty. It's just no point. It doesn't get you anywhere. That's all for that Instagram post. But like I was saying, y'all, I dealt with all of them. Isolation, gaslighting, victimizing, blame shifting. Not really the grooming, minimization, silent treatment. Now I'm going to get into the research that I actually did myself about emotional abuse. This is from healthdirect.gov, and it says there are many different types of emotional abuse, including verbal attacks or threats, restricting a person's freedom, controlling or taking your money, food, or transportation, I guess that's what it meant. Putting you down, insulting or humiliating you or blaming you, making you feel scared or threatened, making you isolated, deliberately doing things to hurt you, bullying, and being very jealous. I would say I experienced the majority of this. I never had like attacks or threats because that'd just be too much, but if you are experiencing that, that's definitely a red flag that you need to leave that relationship. Restricting freedom. This was one that I really dealt with, honestly. Like, I felt like I could not do anything without him being mad. I could not go out with my friends. I could not meet new people. I could not be too busy for him. It was just like so controlling. And when I told him he was controlling, it was like he didn't understand it. Like he was like, I'm not controlling. You could do whatever you want. And it's like, you don't demand, and controlling doesn't have to be someone just demanding you, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Controlling can also be they get mad at you whenever you do something. So then you don't want to do it anymore because you don't want to make them mad, and they'll even say that they're okay with it, but then they'll give you the silent treatment later. And it's like they're mad about it. So that's also controlling. It doesn't have to be demanding, like saying you can't go with your friends and stuff like that. It's them getting upset over you doing certain things. Putting you down, insulting. I'll get more into that later. But yeah, I definitely did feel at a low while I was in that relationship. The biggest thing that I wish that I would have listened to is that you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. And I definitely didn't love myself in the way that I should and in the way that I do now. So just quick little advice. Isolated. Again, like I felt like I couldn't go anywhere, couldn't really do anything. Doing things to hurt me. I feel like sometimes he would do things to get a reaction out of me, but not deliberately try to hurt me. Being very jealous. Jealousy was a huge thing, y'all. It was a huge thing. If I would even talk to a male, he would get mad. I remember one day I was on the phone with him, and I just knew in my head, like I was in the cafeteria of my university, and I was just getting food, and like one guy walked by me and was like, "Hey, Latasia," in my class. I walked by 3 guys that were in different classes, and they all felt the need to say hey to me. And so I was on the phone with him, and they all said hey to me. And I could just feel, like I could feel the jealousy through the phone. Like I could feel him mad through the phone. That people were like, who was that? Like, who was that? And I think I remember being with him, and I pointed out my friend, and I was like, hey, there's my friend. And he was like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about him. And it's just like, dude, like, can you grow up a little bit? Like, and it's not like I had any close male friends. These were all just like associates. Now, those are the ones from healthdirect.gov. The next one is from thehotline.org. I'm gonna leave links to these in the description just in case you want to go back and look at them. It says using emotional abuse, putting her down, making her feel bad about herself, calling her names, making her think she's crazy, playing mind games, humiliating her, making her feel guilty. If y'all are dealing with any of that, run. Like, leave, please. You're gonna be so much better off. I don't care how long y'all have been together. If you are being mistreated, leave the relationship. If you feel like you can't leave, contact someone, get help. Don't stay in a relationship. And this is especially in the Black community. We have this idea of struggle love. Love shouldn't be a struggle all of the time. You shouldn't be arguing 24/7. You shouldn't feel like your confidence level is being lowered by that person. It got to the point where I just like didn't feel happy around him anymore. I associated him with these negative feelings, and so it was like when I would see him, it wouldn't be the same as the beginning. Kind of like this tension inside me, like telling me that this isn't right, Listen to your gut. Like, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. I just believe in it. Like, you will feel if it's not right. Towards the end of the relationship, I just felt, and I tried to force it because, you know, we had been together for a long time and it was my first relationship. You will literally feel it inside you that it's not right. Like something pulling you away. And that might have been God talking to me like, you need to leave this. Mind games was something I dealt with. When I would bring up things that he did that hurt me, and he would kind of like say, sometimes he would say, I never did that, or I never said that. And it's like, I know that you said it, but then again, there's no proof. So they kind of make you feel like you're crazy and like it didn't happen when you know that it happened. And this also says minimizing, denying, and blaming, making light of abuse and not taking her concerns about it seriously, saying the abuse didn't happen, shifting responsibility for abusive behavior, saying she caused it. I'm trying not to overshare because I am a private person. There's some stuff that I gotta keep private because it's just like, I can't, I don't know, I'm a private person. I explained to him that like I had a problem with him never apologizing and taking my concerns seriously, and it's like, and I told him, like, why is it that every time we get into an argument, and we argue all the time, y'all, why is it that I'm the one who ends up apologizing? And he said, because you be the main reason that we be having problems. Like, you're the main reason we have problems. Red flag, y'all. Red flag. Like, you cannot be single-handedly the person who created all the problems in the relationship. And I'm someone who doesn't even like to argue. So I'm not gonna do anything purposely to start that argument, make you mad. And I would tell him, everything I do makes you mad. It was just hard, y'all. It was just hard. And I feel like I wish that I had this knowledge before. So I'm hoping that I can help you guys, because I definitely wish that I was able to have this. These are from thehotline.org. And so now we're gonna get into my signs and red flag. I'm gonna be so real with y'all. So the first sign or red flag that you're possibly an emotionally abusive relationship, they can't agree with your boundaries, or they say it's too difficult when you address an issue. You might say to the person that you're uncomfortable with something, or this is hurting you, and you tell them and express your concern, and they're just like, no, I don't want to do that, or you're overreacting, or it's not like that. And it's just basically they act like it's too difficult for them to do. One thing about me is, like, when I'm having a conversation with someone, it can even be an argument, but once you start yelling and cussing at me, or cursing, using vulgar language basically, I completely like shut off. Once you start doing that, like, I'm not listening to you. And this happened several occasions. I told him several times, when you have a problem, I don't need you yelling and cursing at me. Like, I feel like that's disrespectful towards me, and I don't like it. And I addressed it to him several times, and he would say stuff like, I'm not cursing at you, I'm cursing at the situation. I didn't call you out your name, so it's fine. Like, it shouldn't be a problem. I didn't call you out your name. So basically, I gave him that boundary, and he didn't respect it. You set a boundary, a reasonable boundary, y'all. Literally just asking you not to yell and cuss at me. That's like decency. That's like respect. And I kept telling him. One day, it just kind of blew up, y'all. It just kind of blew up. And yeah, he couldn't respect that, and it continued, which is why eventually I ended up leaving the relationship, because I felt disrespected and mistreated. My second sign / red flag is that they insult your character all the time. They insult your character all the time. Honestly, y'all, I was accused of all of it. Never in my life have I been labeled as a liar, but to him I was. He would accuse me of things all the time that would just be so insulting to my character, bringing down my self-worth, bringing down my energy, bringing down my confidence, accusing me of lying, talking to other guys, doing stuff behind his back, stuff that I would never do. And granted, this probably was due to his trust issues from a previous relationship he had been in. That's another thing. If they're not over what happened to them before, don't get into a relationship with them. Even if they say they're over it, don't do it. So I kind of got negative energy from what the last girl did to him put into my relationship. So shout out to you, girl. Shout out to you. I'm just playing, but yeah, that was something that happened. Insulting your character. You know in your heart that you're not this type of person, and they try to make you out to a person that you're not. Sweetie, honey, leave. Leave, because then you're eventually going to start believing them, and it's going to start bringing down your confidence. My third sign, I kind of touched on this before, downplaying your concerns, like downplaying what hurts you. It's not a big deal when they do something that hurts you, but when you do something that hurts them, which you might not even have the intention of hurting them, it's so serious. But when you voice your concern, it's not that big of a deal, or that didn't happen, or somehow like you end up apologizing. And this is something that happened to me a lot, and it was mainly with the whole respect thing. Like, be respectful when you talk to me. Like, don't talk to me like I'm your enemy just because you're upset with me at the moment. Remember who I am. And I'm still looking for someone who can be respectful when they're mad. This is rooted in toxic masculinity, which is a whole nother topic, but this is rooted in men not knowing how to deal with their feelings. And don't get me wrong, this emotional abuse can definitely happen to men too. So men and women watching this, I want you to take this advice, because women can be emotionally abusive. I've seen it. But toxic masculinity is a thing, and a fault of our society for not allowing men to be able to express their emotions much. So really the only emotions they really have is anger, and really anger. My camera has cut off like 3 times within me filming this, so that's how I know it's getting a little long. My last sign of emotional abuse is a hypocrite. When they do something, it's okay, but when you do it, it's not okay. And so there were things like, if I didn't text him good morning in the morning, it'd just be the end of the world. As soon as I woke up, I could text him, because sometimes I would forget, to be honest, y'all. If I was late for class, I would just get up, get ready, and go to class. And then I'd be in class, and I'd text him good morning, and he would be mad, like, why didn't you text me as soon as you woke up, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, you can text me, too, if you woke. Like, why I gotta text you first? So basically, where I was going with this was, if I was busy with school or something and I didn't talk to him, I didn't text him back immediately, he would get upset, and then he would go like a day not talking to me and be like, oh, I had some stuff to do later that night. And it was perfectly okay for him to do that, but had the roles been reversed and I did it to him, it would have been a big issue. And when I tried to tell him that, it was like he wouldn't comprehend it, and I was always in the wrong. I will not believe how much I was in the wrong. These are all signs of emotional abuse. You might be like me and not know that you even went through it and not realize it till later. Like I said, even though I got kind of passionate talking about this, I have healed. I have moved on from that relationship. I feel like that's the only reason that I'm really comfortable talking about it right now, is because I've accepted it. I'm happy now. I'm single now. I'm focusing on me. So it's just, I've been a lot happier. It shouldn't be like this, but to let someone go that you love, sometimes it just takes that one big thing. But I don't want to say that to y'all, because that one big thing might be like them putting your hands on you, or could even be like them killing you, to be to the extreme. So I feel like you should go ahead and leave before it even gets to that point. To be honest, what it took was me being like, I'll be honest with y'all, like, I was scared of being alone, because I had been in a relationship for 2 years, and so I was used to it then. And so I was scared of being alone, really. And it got to the point where I was just like, I'd rather be alone than deal with this. Like, I'd really rather be alone than deal with this. And it shouldn't have to get to that point. It just takes it happening to you for you to realize your self-worth. And so now it's like, I don't tolerate anything less than, and when I see a sign of you being disrespectful or you having the wrong energy, like, I have to cut you off. Like, I have to let you out of my life. And it's easy for me to let go of things that I know are not beneficial towards me and I know that are not helping me. I hope you guys got some insight from this. If any of you are going through this, I hope that you seek help and immediately leave the relationship. Emotional abuse is real. It is a thing and you may not realize it, but your love doesn't have to be a struggle all the time, and it shouldn't be a struggle all the time. The point of a relationship is for you to have that companionship and for you to be happy together. Don't let a few moments of happiness or them being sweet for a day or two overrule the months of mistreatment and disrespect. I'm not gonna lie, he did sweet things for me and he was sweet to me, but that doesn't get rid of the disrespect. And I feel like that's a common mistake that people make, is that they remember the good times instead of the bad times, even though the bad times might have outweighed the good times, and they end up getting back with that person or just staying with them over those little moments of happiness. But y'all, I'm telling y'all, it is not worth it. Don't let that distract you from the fact that you may be being mistreated. I would definitely say, if you even sense that you're being abused or mistreated or in a toxic relationship, as I was in, do research about it. Ask people, leave the relationship, address it to your partner. I would say always give them a chance. Well, obviously not if you know that they're abusing you, but always give them a chance to redeem themselves and address the issue to them. And if they still continue to do it, then you have every right to leave that relationship and not feel guilty about it. Don't ever make someone make you feel guilty for how you feel or your concerns. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you may be in an emotionally abusive relationship, I hope that this really brought it to your realization. I hope that this helped you. I hope that you realize that you need to be treated with respect. You need to be treated like a queen or king, the queen or king that you are, and not tolerate anything less. Sorry this video was so long, y'all. It was very personal to me. Do me a favor and go ahead and like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want more videos like this, and let me know if you want me to do a part 2 evaluating emotionally abusive friendships and relationships with family. This got really personal, but I feel like I need to do that because I love y'all. I love all 30 of y'all. Even though it's just 30, I'm fine with that. Stay tuned for more videos. Purple fan today.